Good evening, everyone. We will, Bezrat Hashem, with Hashem's help, we will have a lecture here every Wednesday. Every Wednesday. And Baruch Hashem, we have a good start tonight. But please let all your friends know it's going to be routine. 8:45 sharp, I want to start, because it's, summertime. I would prefer to start earlier, but I know in the summer nobody comes before 8:45. So I will be in English every Wednesday 8:45 here. What's the address here? 77th Avenue between Main Street and 147th Street. Yes. That's for the people on the website. They'll know where it is. Queens. Okay, I will speak about different things. We're starting with what's going on today in the world. I don't know if you're listening, you're watching the news. We all know already for years that we are in a generation that probably, most likely, will merit to see the coming of the Mashiach. The signs of the Mashiach, all of them one by one already happened. The Gemara 2,000 years ago, they gave many, many signs what's going to happen, what's going to happen before the Mashiach comes. And all of those signs, one by one, all of them already happened, which means we are very close to it. Also, we find that many countries already have weapons for mass destruction. And the Vilna Gaon said 250 years ago that the last war will be 9 minutes. Everybody laughed, because remember, in his generation there's hardly any rifles even. They had to put some powder inside the gun and shoot a bullet and wait 10 minutes until they can shoot another bullet, So this is this generation then. And he said that the last war, it's not going to be a matter of 9 years or 10 years or who knows what. It's going to be quickly, instantly. From the minute it starts until the minute it ends, the world will be shocked. By the time they realize what happened, everybody will realize the Mashiach came in Yerushalayim and the salvation of the Jews started. However, before the time of the Mashiach, there will be many other things happening in the world. We know that one of the things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do when the Mashiach comes is taking revenge against all these nations that made the Jews suffer for the last 3,300 years. Since the moment we got the Torah until this moment, we never stopped suffering from those nations even one day. They never left us alone. One pogrom after the other, anti-Semitism, discrimination, wars, one after the other, not only from the Arabs. Well, we see that we're suffering from the Arabs in the last 60 years or so. It's not only started in the last 60 years, we had it throughout history. Since the Islam started 1400 years ago, we're constantly suffering from them. But we have to also know one thing. No matter how much we suffer from the Arabs, that's a peanut compared to how much we suffered from the nations of Christianity. In the time of Inquisitions, the last Holocaust alone is 6 million Jews. And the time of the Romans, the time of the Greeks, and all these empires that made us suffer. Now it's the time for Hashem to take revenge against them. So let's look at what's happening in the last week. If you ask a person a week ago, think about what's going on in the world. You look at the euro compared to the dollar. The last year, if you know a little bit about what's going on in economy, the American dollar was going down, 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 and the euro is going higher and higher and higher since they made it. What does it mean, the euro? Every country has their own currency, every country. But all of a sudden, all the European countries decided to make a critical mistake. I don't know how foolish they are. Even an ignorant like me knows better that there will be a big critical mistake to do. Why? Because Europe has many countries. Some of them are very strong financially. Some of them are very weak. By taking a mutual currency and make it apply to all of them equally, that's a very big mistake. Why? Because if one or two countries are bankrupt, it brings everybody down with them. What is it like? Like somebody that is very wealthy and successful in business, and now he takes two bad partners with debt, with their own money, their credit card is maxed, they pay tons of interest, they have problems with the authorities. Who wants partners like this? You bring them into a very healthy, good business that you have, you bring them in, and now they are equal partner in your business. Tomorrow, when they go take actions against them, it becomes your problem. And that's what happened yesterday. If you know what's going on, yesterday, the Greeks went bankrupt. They also announced that that's it. There's no chance for them to pay how much they owe. I think more than $200 billion, probably a lot more, if that's what they admit that they owe. So there's no chance for them to pay. And right after that, Portugal is next. In another day or two, you hear Portugal is also bankrupt. Today, they downgraded Spain. Spain, it's already not Greece or Portugal. That's already a massive country, Spain, with very, very a great history. So Spain is on the way to be bankrupt. And Ireland and many other countries in Europe. So that means the euro will go down to almost nothing soon. Now, the wealthy countries like France and Germany, they have big problems because they lend them all the money. So in order for them to save them from not going bankrupt, they have to give them another $50–60 billion loans, but they cannot pay their loans. What is it like? It's very, very common. I hear about it every week. Somebody made an investment with one Jew with another Jew. He gives him a loan for his business. I don't know, let's say $200,000. So they open up a business. He is the investor, and the other one is the professional. Let's say a pizza store. Okay, so he knows how to make pizza. He finds his uncle. He say to him, give me $200,000. Let's be partners in a store. Usually it's always end very bad. Why? Because he invests money, and then after a few months he gets a phone call. I have a very big problem. I cannot pay salaries to the worker because the money ran out. So I must get another 100,000. If not, we bankrupt. So the one who gave 200,000 is trying now to save the 200,000. It's like the casino a little bit. That's the last shot, the last one, the last round. In the end, he loses everything. So what happened? Now he has to put another 50. And 3 months later, he gets another phone call, another 50. Until he sells his home and he's on the street. You understand? So that's one of the risks. Now that's what happened to these countries. Now they don't know what to do. If we give them another 60 billion, maybe we'll help them slowly to get out of their bankruptcy. But maybe in 3 months, they're going to say, we need another 100. There's no end to it. If between two individuals, there's no way to know what his real situation is, imagine a country. You know how many things you have to check? It's very difficult. HaKadosh Baruch Hu started to take revenge against all these wicked nations. Let's see one by one. The Greeks, how much we suffer from the Greeks, I don't have to tell you, right? We have a Hanukkah thanks to them, holiday. So Baruch Hashem, one good thing came out of it. We eat donuts once a year and light candles. So the Greeks beginning to pay for what they did. Portugal and Spain, the Inquisition. Spain and Portugal. They massacre thousands of Jews every month. They forced them to become Christian, and every Jew who did not agree, they tear him apart, literally. They connected the bodies of the Jews with special ropes and wheels, and they were turning the wheels until the stomach ripped open completely. You understand what's going on here? The ribs was ripping apart, their heart is tearing apart. People used to make hard to believe what they used to do to them. You had to be really brave to stay a Jew. That's why today we have a lot of Gentiles that love the Torah very much. You'll be surprised how many. Tons. And you wonder to yourself, how come? We know as a soul of a goy is not supposed to be attracted to holiness. You know, he's in his level, but all of a sudden you see all these Gentiles calling, sending emails, begging to convert, begging to follow the Torah, asking from different countries where they can get a Chumash with English commentaries. Hard to believe. Why? Because they are the descendants of those Jewish families that forced to become Christian, and today nobody knows who. You should know that they made a DNA test in Spain and in Portugal. One out of 10 goyim has Jewish DNA. 1 out of 10. You understand what we're talking here about? So I don't know how many Jews, how many people are in Spain. 50 million? Take 1% from them, that's how many Jews supposedly are there. Even though DNA doesn't really prove if you're a Jew or not. Physically, it can only prove that you came from a descendant of Jewish people. But if your father was a Jew and your mother was not Jewish, you are 100% goy, your DNA may show that you're a Jew, but you're not a Jew. So it's all mixed. Same thing, some of the goyim, that it doesn't really show the Jewish DNA, they could be Jewish. Why? Because it's 10 generations with the mothers. All the fathers were goyim, but 10 mothers were all Jewish. There's no way to know. There are many, many goyim that they think that they are goyim, but they're actually Jewish. And that's a result of this Inquisition. So now we have this Spain and we have Portugal. Germany are the main lenders. So they have big problems already with them now. It's going to affect all of them. It's going to affect the whole world. And you see, for about a year, the American government lying to the people here that the economy is getting better. But it cannot be that it's getting better. How do I know? For every 100 phone calls I get, more than 90 of them is people who lost their job or closed their business or cannot pay for food. You know, there are people who cannot drive their car because they don't have money for gas. A situation like this, you don't remember. People, they just don't know what to do. And there's more and more miserable people. Also, because of the situation, the crime rate is keep increasing. I don't know if you followed the news last week, but last week, two American congressmen, they spoke in Congress, and they say that America has no choice but to send the army, the troops, to Chicago to stand on the streets. They want to put thousands of American soldiers with weapons on the streets of Chicago because the police lost control over the crime there. The police surrender. The police cannot do anything. Robberies, stores, violence, shootings everywhere. The police, they don't know what to do. That's in Chicago. That's just a few days ago, the news. It's in the Congress. What do you think? New York is any better? When I went to finish my movie in Brooklyn, the guy told me in Nostrand Avenue, in 2 weeks there was 3 robberies in this block. In one block, 3 robberies, armed robberies. He said, we are here for many years. There was never robberies. In 2 weeks, 3 robberies in the same block? Just imagine how many robberies out there. You understand? Why the crime is going higher and higher? What do they have to lose? The minorities, the poor people that live here in New York, they live of welfare and food stamps and all this. It's not enough. It's not enough to pay for what they need to eat. So what do they have to lose? Especially the single ones that have kids here, kids there, with this woman, with that woman. He has kids everywhere. What does he have to lose? Right now he doesn't have a place to sleep. He is always struggling to get enough food, what to eat today. They put him in jail. He has television, he has warm food, he has heat, he has air conditioning, whatever they need they have. He has a bed, he has a lot of friends, they play basketball over there. So why not to go to jail? Life is much more miserable than jail for them. For the civilized people, jail, it's hell in this life. But for them, there's nothing worse than what they have every day. Well, this is the most dangerous things to a country, to a nation, that the people have no fear from going to jail. It's the same things that the Jews have with the Arabs. Why we cannot defeat the Arab with the power of the army? We cannot defeat them. Only with Hashem miracles we're defeating them. Without that, there's no way for us to win against them. Why? Because they want to die. They have an incentive to kill themselves. How can you win an enemy that doesn't care to die? For him, it's a privilege to die. He runs into the fire, explode. He doesn't mind to kill himself as long as he can kill one Jew. 5 of them will commit suicide. As long as we kill one Jew, it's an achievement. So what are you going to threat them from? To shooting them? Putting them in jail? You understand what's going on here? We are paying millions of dollars every week to feed all these terrorists, all these Arab terrorists. You understand why? Because we democracy, we civilized in Israel, so we have to put them in jail and supply them with food. And doctors, and vaccines, and all kinds of things. It costs fortune. You understand? So they come to kill us, and then we put them in jails. It's much better than living in Gaza, 17 people in one room. They have good conditions over there. You understand? They pray, they do whatever they want over there, and we have to pay for it. Same thing in America, in some places. This is the situation. You know, speaking about Spain, a long time back in history, hundreds of years ago, there was one very successful Jew, big Talmid Chacham, a rabbi. His name was Rav Don Yitzchak Abarbanel. Abarbanel is very famous. Famous. In Israel, there is a famous hospital named after him. You don't want to get there. You don't want to go to any hospital, but for this one, for sure not. Why? Because it's a hospital for mental cases. Usually, if you get there, either you never come out, or if you come out, you're worse than what you are when you came there. Right? So what happened? He was the Treasury of Spain at that time. Now you have to understand, this is a generation that the anti-Semitism was in a highest that you can think of. To see a Jew in a country like Spain, that he is in charge of all the money of the king. This is the time when they had kings. The kings was in power. Today they still have king in Spain, but he doesn't have that much power like the politicians. But what happened over there? He is the Treasury of Spain, in charge of all the money in Spain. And the Spanish goyim, they love him very much. Not thanks to his yarmulke and his beard, because he lowered their taxes a lot. Before he became the Minister of Treasury, the previous one was killing them on the taxes. He came with good ideas. He said, let's give people incentive to pay taxes. Don't destroy them. Give them a discount. Like this, they have no incentive to cheat. So everybody will pay. If you tell them pay 15, 20% of what you make, no. There's not that much incentive to cheat. If you tell them give 50, 60% of your income, everybody wants to cheat. You leave them no money. They work for you. You're forcing them to be liars. So he came with his idea. The king makes more money. The people are very happy. So Spain has a very good economy in those days. But there are other ministers in the government of Spain. And when they see that this Jew is very popular, it's destroyed them. It kills them. So what happened? They begin to think how we bring this Jew down. But the king loves him very much, because everybody loves the king. Since he has such a good minister, everybody is proud of them. So the king loves him. They're very good friends. And all the ministers of the Goyim, they think how we should put him down. So one time they came up with an idea. They come to the king and they say, we decide that every person has to put a report, to write a report of how much is his net worth, how much he's worth with his buildings, with his businesses, with how much money he has in his account. We want to know how much each minister worth. Why? That if he said that he worth $1 million today, if in 2 weeks we find out now he has $2 million, we want to know how in 1 week you have an extra $1 million. Obviously, he didn't make it in the government, right? Somebody bribed him. This is it. By the way, in Israel, they made up that, they suggested that law, that everyone who's getting elected to the Knesset, he has to write a report. What does he have? How much he makes? What's his incomes? Based on that, to decide if he's allowed to do certain things, not allowed to do. Okay, anyway. So now he wrote that he worth 700,000. 700,000. So the ministers comes to the king and say, you see what the crook? Just his house alone worth double. Everybody knows. How can it be only 700,000? Now the king knows it cannot be 700,000, but the king likes him. So the king said, okay, give me few weeks. I will check what's going on here. In the meantime, they see that it's still not convincing the king 100%. So one of them is the Treasury of foreign relationship. You know, he's bribing his assistant. Rav Don Yitzchak Abarbanel has one guy who is his assistant in a treasury office. They bribe him and they say, we want you to give us secret document, you know, confidential documents that the king and this Jew has together that nobody knows of. Steal it from his vault and we'll pay you X amount of money for that. So he got very, very secret documents and he gave it to him. So he come to meet with the king, and all of a sudden he tells the king about one business that the king made with some country. Nobody knows about it. So the king told him, how do you know about this? He said, well, the minister of treasury, he's telling me all the things that he does with you. So the king said, what do you mean? It's confidential. I warned him not to tell anybody. He said, here, you see, I told you cannot rely on him. If he tells you that he worth 700,000, what do you expect? You think he's honest just because he has a yarmulke? So the king said, okay, I surrender. If that's the case, we get rid of him. But now the king has a problem. The king has a problem. Why? Because if he arrests him, it will make demonstrations in the entire land. Everybody loves him. All the people, the citizens, they love him. He's very popular. It can create problems to the army, you know, people riot. So let's pretend that he dies in an accident. This is a true story. Listen to this, how it ends. So he said, let's pretend that he dies in an accident. So what are we going to do? There, out of town, there is a big factory that make bricks, for building bricks. How do they make bricks? They have a big fire in a hole, big fire, and they burn it inside, and that's how they make them. I'm going to send him to that factory to review the place with a sealed envelope, with my stamp. Once he gets there, the owner of this factory is a good friend of mine. I'm going to write to him. Once he opens, I'm going to tell the Jew to give him the envelope that nobody's supposed to see. Only he's supposed to see. It's a confidential message. When he opens the letter, he's going to see, take this Jew and throw him into the fire and pretend that it was an accident. Make him stand by the fire, somebody push him in and let him die, and then announce to the news that, you know, the minister of Spain fell into the fire and we're all very sorry, you know. So he has the envelope, and he goes with who? With the goy assistant, the one who steal the documents from him and give it to the foreign minister. While they go in a carriage with the horses, he sees on the road one religious Jew standing and go like this. Stop the carriage. So he stops the carriage, and the Jew says, Rav Don Yitzchak, you have to save me, please. Please save me. He said, what happened? He thought maybe he wants tzedakah. He said, we had a bris, circumcision in the morning for my son. Everybody's waiting in the shul after the prayer, and the mohel didn't show up. Now it's almost an hour before sunset. If I don't find a mohel, remember there was no telephones, no times. He lives in a place that there's no Jews hardly. I don't know where to find a mohel. So I saw from far, all day I'm standing here, maybe one Jew that knows how to circumcise will pass by that I can bring him. If not, I missed today, it's the 8th day, that's it. I need you to come, circumcise the baby. Now we're thinking, I'm on a mission for the king. But who's more important, that king or that king? Yes. I have no choice. Whatever happen, happen. If I have to get fired, I get fired. Right now I have my obligations to go circumcise the baby. So he tells now the assistant doesn't know what's inside the letter. So he tells him, okay, listen, I trust you. You're my assistant for a long time. Make sure you go there and give it to the owner of that factory in his hand. So now they never saw, remember there was no media like today. You see the face of every politician. They don't know how you look. Somebody comes with horses, you know, it's an important person. They think he's the minister. So the guy goes with the letter, he gives it to them, they throw him inside the fire. But before, even the Christians, have a custom that before you execute them, they make a vidui. Hatati, aviti, pashati. They make a vidui. Yeah, they say they reveal all their sins. They confess. Confession. So as he say, okay, give me 5 minutes to confess before God. So he says, I did this, I did that, I stole, I cheat, I did. Then he said, and I stole confidential documents from the vault of the Treasury, and I got him into trouble because of me. So I asked God also, forgive me for that. Now they're all listening. So after they killed him, because in a letter he said, the one who handed you that envelope, throw him into the fire. They killed him. As Don Yitzchak comes back to the next day to his office, the king sees him. The king said, didn't you go to give the letter to where I sent you? He said, yeah, I went there, but this is what happened in the middle, but my assistant, I gave it to him. So the king says, so where is your assistant? He said, I don't know, he didn't come to work today. So right away he sent a soldier over there to that factory on a horse. So they said, maybe you come closer, let the ladies enter. Baruch Hashem, a lot of people coming. Here, there's more room here in the first row. Come. And move the cookies. Okay, so, yeah, move everything. Yeah. Aaron, move the cookies. Yeah. Here, one chair over there. Yeah, good. Good. Here, right there. So, the soldier arrived there, and they said, we killed the person who gave us the envelope, and this was his confession before he died. He comes back to the king, so the king says to Rav Don Yitzchak, I'm very, very sorry that I suspected you. You know, I couldn't believe that you revealed my secrets to the minister of the foreign minister. So he said, of course I'll never do such a thing. So now the king told him, listen good. The king told him, okay, so Baruch Hashem, you're alive and you're righteous and God saved you. Obviously he sent you that guy and he called you to do that mitzvah. But I still have one problem with you. How did you hand me a report and all your belongings and all your position is only 700,000 when every fool knows that your house worth more than double? What about all the other things that you have? So he says, Your Majesty, I never lied in my whole life. When you ask me how much I have, I wrote to you exactly how much I really have. Everything that you see, this mansion and that house and the horses and the money and the jewelry that I have right now in my hand, they're all not mine. They're technically all yours. Because in 1 second, you can decide that you repossessed everything to the kingdom. That's the law here. The king can do whatever he wants without a trial. We take everything you have and we kill you. There's nothing I can do. You're the judge of this country. You're above the judge, the justice system. So everything I have is temporarily. Maybe tomorrow I don't have it, so I don't even know if it's mine. I use it as I have it right now, but it's really not mine. It's yours. I wrote what I have and you cannot take it from me. I said, what do you mean? I can take anything I want from you. He said, no. What I gave already during the years to tzedakah, I already sent to my olam haba, to my next life. That's waiting for me there. You cannot get it from there. That's not yours. Whatever you want, I already make sure that I have this money saving to my eternal life. This you cannot take away from me. So the king says to him, Ashrecha, you convince me. And that's how he became very, very famous, Rav Don Yitzchak Abarbanel. Next time you hear Abarbanel in Shiurei Torah, you know who you're talking about. You know, speaking about Emunah in Hashem, in Yerushalayim, there is a very famous Faradi yeshiva, perhaps the most famous in the world. Why? all the legendary Sephardic rabbis that we had in the last 100 years came from that yeshiva. Today, if they ask you who is the biggest Sephardic Rav in the world, everybody will answer Rav Ovadia Yosef. There's no doubt about that. He's the big chief rabbi of all the chief rabbis that below him. 10 years ago, there was another very famous Sephardic Rav. His name was Ben Zion Abba Shaul. He passed away. He's also from Porat Yosef. The chief rabbi of Bat Yam for many years, Rabbi Bar Shalom, also from Porat Yosef. The chief rabbi of Panama that passed away a few years ago, Rav Zion Cohen, also from Porat Yosef. All the important Sephardim, really important Sephardim, Talmidei Chachamim, came from this yeshiva. And who was the Rav? Rav Yudah Tzadka, all the other famous Rabbanim. Who were the Rav that taught all of them Torah? Rav Ezra Atiyah from Syria, from Chalab. He came to Israel, and he was the chief rabbi of Porat Yosef. In the old city, you see, you have, the Porat Yosef. You have two Porat Yosef, one in the old city and one in Geula over there. They split it to two buildings. So why do I tell you this story? Because the Gabbai, the one who was in charge of all the money in this yeshiva, was a Turkish Jew. What was his name? His first name was Rabbeinu, our rabbi. That's his real name, Rabbeinu. What's his last name? Politi. What's politi in Hebrew? Politics. I don't know that was his name, but that was his name. Rabbeinu Politi. That was his name. He was a Turkish Jew. Compared to the people of the old days, 50, 60 years ago in Israel, when everybody was poor, people could not afford a pair of shoes. They could not afford pairs of shoes. My father told me when I was a kid in Israel, when the British was coming there, the soldiers, one family had to share one pair of shoes to all the brothers. So what do? You have different sizes. You cut the front. And you make the toes going in the front outside. There's no other way. So the little one, if he's 6 years old, he wears it. They tie it very strong to the legs. He goes on the street. Then the big one, the older one, wants it. So he takes his toes coming out. That's how it was. You have to get stamps, food stamps. The British were giving. They bring trucks. You stand there an hour online to get a little bit flour. We make a little bit pita bread. That's the way the life was in those days. So, in these days, compared to the people, he was wealthy. That's why they made him in charge of all the money. Usually, in all the shuls, the financial figure is the Gabbai. He's in charge of all the money. They choose somebody who knows a little bit about money. So now, he said how he made his money. That's his story. When I was in Turkey, he had a store that sells fabrics. Big rolls. And he has tailors that work for him. And in the old days, it wasn't like today. You go to the department store, you tell them I'm 42 regular. Right away, they bring you 500 different brands. You don't know what to choose. Everything ready. No. When you wanted to buy a suit, the tailor has to measure you, and they make for you custom made. I remember when I was a kid. When I was a kid, for my bar mitzvah, my father had to go to a tailor, and he was measuring him to make him a suit. That's how it was. We're not talking that many years ago. That's how it was. Today, everything became commercial. So, the Turkish minister of the army, the one who was in charge of the army, he came to his store, to his factory over there. He said, I want to buy tens of thousands of uniforms for you. You make the uniforms for the Turkish soldiers. You have to remember that the Turks, they were the big empire before the British. For hundreds of years, more than 300 years, they were occupying countries and they controlling until the British came and knocked them out of Israel in the beginning of the previous century. But when he was in Turkey, he comes to give him such an order when half an hour before sunset. What does a Jew has to do half an hour before sunset? No, not Friday. Friday he doesn't stay in a store half an hour before Shabbat. He has to go daven mincha. He has to go to the shul. So he told him, sir, I'm very sorry you came in a bad time. Usually at this time I'm already closing the store and go to Mincha. I don't mind to return back for you. If you're willing to wait for me half an hour, if you have other things to do here, I have to go pray. He said, no, I'm a very busy man. I cannot sit here half an hour for you just because you want to go pray. Pray here, I wait for you here. He said, no, I'm sorry, I never miss minyan. I make sure I always daven in minyan, in shul, in the house of God. What do I pray in my store? Forget it. So he said, okay, you don't want the deal, goodbye. He takes his papers, he go across the street to his competitor. Goy also sell fabrics. He ordered from the guy 30,000 uniforms. It's work for more than a year. It worked from morning to night. They're all set. When he comes back, he sees that already he lost the deal. So he calculated how much he lost. At that time, it was $30,000. You know how the dollar used to worth a lot in those days. With the dollar you can buy the whole shopping in a supermarket for the entire Shabbat. You know, with the dollar. Today you cannot do anything with the dollar. Soon the toilet paper will be more expensive than the dollar. You know, the dollar has no value anymore. There's hardly anything you can buy with $1 anymore. Hardly anything. Not only that, you know the pennies that we have that nobody wants to carry in their pockets because it's too heavy? To make 1 penny costs 5 cents. The government, they have to make pennies all the time because over the years they get lost. They have to produce. It costs 5 cents to make 1 cent. Yeah, that's what it is in these days. So the penny that you have, if you keep it as a medal, it's worth 5 cents. 5 times more than what you get for it when you give it up. As medals. If you melt it, if you take 1,000,000 pennies and melt them, it's actually 5 million. The value of it. Most people don't know it. It just show you inflation, how horrible the inflation made the situation. Anyway, so Politi, he see that he lost $30,000. It's enough to live 20 years for his whole family, this deal. So he said, Baruch Hashem, that you gave me the strength to pass this test, that I didn't sell you for money, that I still went to daven mincha. A month later, this Turkish guy with his mustache, you know how they used to have the mustache rolling? That's how they were. He shows up with all the uniforms, all these things on his uniforms. He comes inside. He say, after all, you're a lucky Jew. We're very unhappy from the material that we order from him. I'm stopping the order. Whatever he made. I pay him for it. But I need from you 60,000. Double than what they order, because they didn't calculate all the soldiers. 60,000 uniforms. He got the deal, and that's how he made all his money. What do we learn from this? You know how many cases like this we have in our life and we fail? Why? We don't even know what we just lost. When somebody offers you something and you do it, if you would hold yourself not to do it, you would make a lot. But you will never know what you lost. When are we going to find out what we lost? When? When you come to Hashem. When you come in front of Hashem, then you know how much you lost. But as long as it doesn't happen, you just don't know. You know, Rav Ezra Atiyah, which was the Rosh Yeshiva of Porat Yosef, he had a little student in his class. His name was Ovadia. Ovadia ben Yaakov. Ovadia is a little kid, first grade, learning very good Torah, loves the Torah. In recess, when everybody go play soccer, he's with the Gemara. So he loves him very much. You see, wow, this boy has a future. One day, Ovadia doesn't come to school. Second day, Ovadia doesn't come to school. No, he thinks maybe he has a flu or something. Third day, Ovadia doesn't come to school. What a Rosh Yeshiva that have a yeshiva, when a student doesn't come for 3 days, there's no telephone in those days to call, so he pays a visit to his father, no? He comes to the house, he asks, where is Ovadia? With his father in a store. His father has a little grocery store, very tiny grocery store in the neighborhood. He sells cheese, cut cheese, bread, olives. That's the store. He comes to the store, he sees little Ovadia cutting cheese. He said, what are you doing here? He said, I'm helping my father. So what about yeshiva? He said, I cannot come anymore. So my father got old. It's very hard for him to run the store by himself. There's things to carry. And he asked me to help. What can I do? Kibud orim, no? I have to respect my father. So he comes to his father. He said, Rabbi Yaakov, your boy is the shining diamond in the yeshiva, and you make him come cut cheese here? So he said, what can I do? I close the business. What are we going to eat? I need help here. I cannot afford to get a worker, so he works here for free. So he said, no problem, I work. I'll come to work for you. Send him back to the yeshiva, I'll be your worker. There are 2 versions to the story. I read it in 2 different places. According to the first version, his father said, Chas v'shalom, you, the Chacham, will cut cheese for me? So he told him, your son is more Chacham than me. So there's the same thing, and he let him go back to the yeshiva. That's the first version. The second version is very interesting. That he said, okay, you work for me. And he made him come and work for a few days. Until the customer started to curse him. What? You make this Rav, the Chacham, cut cheese and pick up milk for you? So he didn't have a choice. He said, okay, Rabbi, go back to your yeshiva. What? You fooled me good. And this Ovadia became the chief rabbi in the world today. Rav Ovadia Yosef. Rav Ovadia Yosef. You see what a lucky rabbi Rav Ezra Atiyah was? What happened if he wouldn't go to check what's going on? He will tell the father, okay, no, you need help. What can I do? He would be, maybe he had a bigger grocery store today. One guy came to him and said, Rav Ovadia, I heard that you know all the Torah by heart. So he told him, don't exaggerate, only half. I said, okay, half is also very good. Which half? He said, whichever you want. Now, you're thinking, one time when he was young, when he was younger than 20, he broke his 2 legs. Both of his legs are in cast, and he's laying in a hospital. One very big rabbi came to visit him in a hospital. We are talking more than 65 years ago. Think about what we're saying here. Big Rav, old man, come to the hospital to visit a teenage. So somebody asked him, Rabbi, you have nothing else to do in your life? To go visit every little kid that goes to the doctor, to the hospital? So he said, no, that's not just another kid. This is the new chief rabbi of this world, the future of the nation of Israel, he says. So he said, how do you know? He said, when I heard how he broke his legs, I realized it's my obligation to come and pay him a visit. How did he break his leg? In the yeshiva, in every yeshiva, you have on the wall all the shelves with all the books. Some of them are very high, you cannot reach. So you have a ladder. So you put the ladder, you climb the ladder, and you take the book. But when he learns, he's so deep into the Torah that he was standing on the ladder and he was learning for about half an hour. He's on the ladder. He doesn't walk up and down. He said, for me, half an hour, I finish the whole thing. He reads. Now, when he finished, he wants to put it back. But apparently he saw that he needs the book anyway, so he started to walk. And he fell from the ladder. That's what happened. That's how he broke his 2 legs. So when this Rav heard that we have in this time Jews like this, that they forgot that they're standing on the ladder because they are so deep inside the Torah, he knows somebody like this. I have to run, see who he is, out of curiosity. There's hundreds of stories like this. You know, it's interesting. I once read about the story, the book of Rav Shach. Rav Shach also passed away 107 years old. That one time his wife sent him to buy a watermelon. And after half an hour he came back home and he's with the book. He's holding the book and his hand like this. So she said, where is it? He said, where is what? He said, where is the watermelon? He said, here. And she said, what here? He said, oh, I don't know, I guess it fell on the way here. You know, a person can be in this world but really is not here. He can be here but he's really not here. So Rabbi Ezra Atiyah spoke about Rabbi Aaron from Chaleb. Rabbi Aaron from Chaleb is a jewelry. He has a booth in 47th Street, but in Chaleb, not in Manhattan. Soon, everybody will run away from Manhattan. Did you hear why? You're not listening to the news, Baruch Hashem. Very good. There are millions of rats occupying Manhattan now. Millions of rats. They started in Upper East Side. Be on alert, soon they're going to get to Midtown. One Kushi came into his car in the morning and he started the car and he heard squeeze, something happening inside the engine. Before he realized, he see 8 rats, big ones, coming out of the engine and running. As he drives his car, after a mile the car is breaking down. It all vibrates. So maybe one of them is grinded inside the engine or something. Apparently they ate the wires. They ate the wires and they made a short. And the sensors don't work properly. That's what's happening now in Manhattan. They even have telephones, the rats. You know, and they come, they call... The Gemara say, Achbarim Rish'i Ninhu. Translation, the mice, the rats are wicked. They have no mercy on us. Why? When one of them find food like wheat or barley, in less than a minute you have thousands. They call all their friends. When a person finds a way to make money, he tells his wife, shh, make sure nobody hears. What do you care? If somebody else will buy that stock and make money, why not? Tell everybody, share it. Shh, it's confidential. Make sure. But the rats are not bad like that. They love each other. One found the wheat, in 5 minutes you have no wheat. They take everything. It's true, that's the way they are. So, Rabbi Aaron from Chaleb, he has a booth in 47th Street and he sells gold and diamonds. But after Tfilat Shachrit, every morning he sits and learns Torah. He finishes Chok L'Israel, he does the Daf Yomi, and he comes to the store around 12 in the afternoon. By then he loses a lot of customers. And his wife going nuts. She say, what? Aaron, what's wrong with you? When are we ever going to make money? We have children to raise. We have to help them to get married. Half of your day is in a shul. By the time you get to work, 4 or 5 hours, the day is over. So he told her, I'm sorry. The Torah said that the parnasa comes from Hashem, not from the business. I don't care. Hashem see what I do what he wants me to do. The rest is not in my hand. Why should I kill myself for parnasa? Hashem wants, he can send me the parnasa in 5 hours a day. He doesn't need me to be 8 hours every day. 5 hours, it's enough. So like this, few years, now everybody makes money around him because they work from morning to night, and he's hardly paying the bills. One time, a Mustafa came from Hebron. One Mustafa came, Arab, from Hebron. We're talking this story about 70, 80 years ago. In Hebron, you know, Israel wasn't a state yet. There were Jews in Israel, but it wasn't officially a state yet. So Arabs used to travel from Israel to Egypt, to Jordan, to Syria, right? So Mustafa comes to the market of Chaleb. And he has a very, very precious diamond to sell. So he comes to Rabbi Aaron. Rabbi Aaron has very good reputation. He's very honest. So Jews and non-Jews They know you want to do a business, you want to rely on someone, this is the guy. He's very honest. He has good reputation. So this Mustafa heard about him. He comes, he waits for him from the morning. He stands next to his gate, and he doesn't show up. He waits an hour, 2 hours, but finally he shows up. So, oh, Baruch Hashem, you decided to come to work today. Mi kevodo, who are you? My name is Mustafa ibn Abdallah, and I came to do some business with you. He said, what are you selling? He said, open the store, let's talk inside. They go inside. You know, the Arabs have the hats, the tarbush, you know, these big tall hats. So he takes his hat off. Inside, he has like a zipper. That's where he hides his diamond. He takes out a diamond, 10 carats. We're talking 80 years ago, this story. Rabbi Aaron, when he saw this diamond, in all his career, he didn't see such a diamond. He checked the diamond, clean, crystal, pure, symmetric, even. Wow, where did you get such a stone? He said, I want you to tell me the real value of this stone. He told him without a doubt, 8 years ago, more than $100,000. It's like $5 million today, if you compare the value of this diamond. It's like $5 million today, this diamond. So he told him, do you think there's a chance that you find me a buyer for that? He said, listen, it won't be easy for one diamond to get such an amount. How long are you here? He said, I'm here by the hotel in town for 1 week. Next Monday I go back to Hebron. He said, okay, I'll shop around. So about 4 or 5 days later, Rabbi Aaron walks in the street and he see about 50 people standing on the street like this. He comes between the people. What does he see? Mustafa ibn Abdallah is laying dead on the street. He's dead on the street. The police over there, they're getting ready to take his body. All of a sudden, the owner of the hotel comes. He screams, hey, why are you taking him? He owes me money for 1 week. I gave him food, room, everything. I need to get paid. If you take him, he's never going to pay me. So the policeman say, what do you want me to do? He said, let me take his belongings. So in the old days, that's what they used to do. If there's nobody there, they sell what he has. If he has a nice outfit, they make an auction. So all the people in the street, they start buying his stuff. So they say, let's sell his killed. I don't know, whatever it was, 100 lira. So all of a sudden they say, okay, his hat. A hat like this. So one guy say 5. One say 10. Rabbi Aaron say 18. Everybody, what a crazy guy, pay $18 for this lousy hat. I said, no problem, give me the hat. He took the hat, $100,000, 8 years ago. He became the richest guy. So he come to his wife, he say, you see, to see the supervision of Hashem, you must have patience. You must have patience. You don't have patience, you become wicked. You have patience, you have time to wait. It doesn't happen now, it happened tomorrow. Not tomorrow, in a year from now. In 5 years, in 30 years. It didn't happen in your lifetime, it happened to your children. It didn't happen to them, it will happen to you when you come back, your soul in a new body. But for sure, you'll get what you deserve. That's what you have to know. For sure, everybody gets in the end, for good or for bad, what they deserve. You know, Rav Yeshaya, from the city of Zochowitz, in Europe, there's a city, Zochowitz. He loves guests. Sometimes you find Jews that they cannot be home one Shabbat without guests. If they didn't find guests by Wednesday, they're already nervous, making phone calls to the yeshiva. Don't you have some guys to send me? Ask your cousin, maybe they want to come. Sometimes you're not lucky. Nobody wants to come that Shabbat. So, one time you see 5 guys, 5 business people. They come from Lita. They come on a carriage from Lita. and they look for a place in Zochovitz to stay for Shabbat until they continue to their hometown. So he runs to them. He says, you probably need a place for Shabbos, no? He says, yeah. He says, I have room for you. I can have you on Shabbat. He said, very good. Baruch Hashem, we don't have to shop around here. He said, but each one of you have to pay me 5 coins for the Shabbat. But you can eat and enjoy. I have a delicious food. But you pay me 5 coins for Shabbat. It was reasonable price. So they say, okay, no problem. 5 coins, better than to go to hotel. So they eat on Shabbat, chicken, meat, these salads. They bring food and food and food. Sunday morning, they want to leave. So they pray Shachrit. Now they say, okay, Rabbi, it was wonderful Shabbat. You deserve even more than 5. Here, let us pay you. Say, God forbid. I cannot take a penny from you. So what do you mean? He said, we agree that we pay you 5 coins. He said, what, did you really believe that I'm going to charge you for being by my house for Shabbat? So they say, so why did you tell us it's going to cost 5? Usually it's the other way around. You don't tell the customer how much it's going to cost him. One guy walked on the street, true story. He walked on the street and all of a sudden he sees friends coming out of a fancy restaurant. Moshe, how are you? Now this Moshe is with his wife and the children. They walk in the street with a stroller. Come in. I opened that restaurant. Grand opening. Come, have a meal. So this Moshe thing is inviting me for a free meal. He comes. They eat as much as you can. They eat. In the end of the meal, he gives them dessert, this, that. All of a sudden, a very long bill came. So what's this? I said, the food. So you invited me, no? I said, yeah, but it's a business. What do you think? So you have to pay. They went to Beis Din. And guess what was the verdict? Did he have to pay or no? Yes. He had to pay. Because he didn't tell him, come eat for free. If we tell him the word for free or on my expense, then it's for free. He misled him. Obviously, he tricked him. So anyway, Rav Yeshaya told them, I cannot take a penny from you. So they said, why? I don't understand. They say, so why did you tell us to pay 5 before Shabbat? So he said, I wanted you to feel comfortable and to eat a lot. Now when you know you pay for your meals, you take advantage. If you knew I'm not charging you anything, you don't know me, I took you from the street, you'll be embarrassed to eat. You know, hey, man, that's not. But now when you pay, you come to hotel, you're not embarrassed. Hey, waiter, bring me another steak. No, it's too much. Sir, you're eating too much. What do you mean? I pay for this. Give me more food. That's the way he was. You understand? The Gemara says, what's the difference between the wicked and the righteous? What's the difference between the wicked and the righteous? The wicked, they speak a lot and in the end do nothing. The righteous don't speak anything and they do a lot in the end. How do we learn it? From Ephron Achiti. Ephron, Avraham Avinu came to buy the Me'arat HaMachpelah in Hebron. So he comes to him, he says, you can have it for free. What? You are the president of God among us. You are Abraham. What is this to charge you? So Abraham said, no, I swear I cannot take one shoelace from you for free. Whatever you give me, I pay. So he said, what is it, 400 coins of gold between me and you? In the end, he ripped him on a prize. You understand? The righteous people, they don't talk, they just do. They don't talk. It needs to be done, they do, behind the scene. Behind the scene, you know, they don't do. I remember one time, I came to a restaurant here in Queens Boulevard. The owner of the restaurant became my friend because I was helping him with his credit card machine. I became his customer service. So he's calling me all the time. I don't know how to put the paper. Can you pass by? Okay, I can't put the paper for you. The next day call, I don't know, the machine doesn't print. I want to know how you do this, how you do that. This card didn't work. He refused to call customer service, so almost every night after, I finished my day in the office, I used to pass through his house, through his restaurant. So one time he calls me up, he said, listen, there's a guy here from Israel, Yemenite guy, Israeli, that he doesn't know what he's doing with his life. This is an easy target for you, he says. He tells me, זה טרף קל בשבילך. It's an easy target. You hunt him in a minute, because he doesn't know where he's going. Take him to the yeshiva in Monsey. So I say, okay, for something like this, I run. I come to the restaurant, I see an Israeli guy, jeans, curly hair. He has a bag on his shoulder. You know how the Israeli go to South America, climb the mountains? That's how he looks. Of course, no yarmulke, no nothing. His name is Oren Hajbi. You can go search for him today. You won't believe where he is. But anyway, listen to this. So, hi, nice to meet you. We talk. So he says, I said, you ready to come? He said, where is it? I said, it's about an hour and a half north. He said, and what am I going to do there? I say, there's Torah, you learn Torah, Gemara, you have rabbis there, you have good food, you have beautiful trees, there's a lake over there. On Friday we play soccer in a park. I'm trying to say everything that will impress him. So he's thinking, he said, okay, let's try a week. What can happen? On the way there, he tells me, tell me, everyone over there is black? Or there are some normal people also? So I told him they're more black than the night. Now he has nowhere to go anymore. So he said, wow, maybe you take me back. What did I do? I said, don't worry. 1 week you're not happy. Next week I'll bring you back to Queens. I bring him to the yeshiva. He started learning Torah. His soul came back to life. All of a sudden, yarmulke, his hair is off. He changed his clothes. He learns. One day, I see him on the street. Now he had glasses. I walk in the street, and he's walking towards me. So I say, Oren. So I see he's looking like a blind person. He doesn't recognize that it's me. I say, Oren. He said, who is this? Oh, Mizrachi, it's you. I said, well, you don't see? He said, no, I don't have my glasses. So I said, so why you walk in the street without glasses? He said, I'm afraid maybe I see a not modest woman like this. I don't see anything. I walk like this. I know my ways. I see a little bit. I say to myself, wow, in 1 month in yeshiva, look, this guy is already 10 times. He's running faster than me. Okay, I say, Baruch Hashem. Then a few months later, I bring another guy to the yeshiva. We get there around 1:30 at night. 1:30 at night. So I have to take the guy to the dorm, the new guy. So I see in the yeshiva, I say, you know what, let me turn the light on. I show him the yeshiva, to the new guy. I turn the light on. I see this guy sits on the floor with the Sefer Torah, crying for Bet HaMikdash. He's doing Tikkun Chatzot, in the middle of the night. I said, this guy doesn't belong in this world. Special soul. Then he went to Israel, to Tzfat, he got married, became a big chacham over there. Doesn't care about this world, only Torah. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you have to spit blood until you make one Jew religious after years. Sometimes you come, you don't do anything. You put his bag in a car, you drive an hour. That's a tzaddik of the generation. So, we say it in a davening. Time is running out, but we say in a davening something very interesting. What do we say? We say, Ashivenu avinu letoratecha, vekarvenu malkenu la'avodatecha, v'achazirenu b'tshuva shlema lefanecha. Right? We say it? 3 different sentences. First one, what are we saying the first one? First, Ashivenu avinu letoratecha. Second, karvenu malkenu la'avodatecha. And third, achazirenu b'tshuva shlema lefanecha. This is the right order of making tshuva. What does it mean? I'll explain. Sometimes you see people that they're starting to become religious, but they behave very strange for their level. Technically, they are beginners, and they jump from 0 to 90 in 1 week. Usually, in 99 out of 100 cases, something like this ended up very bitter. The person leave the religion and go back to be a goy. Why? He had no foundation. He has no foundation. When a person decides that he wants to be close to Hashem and start keeping Torah and mitzvot, he has to do it slowly but surely. He cannot jump from 0 to 90. What does it mean to jump from 0 to 90? I'll give you an example. Today he saw the DVD. He decided the Torah is from Hashem, it's divine. So from now on I have to keep all the mitzvot. A week later, he's already in yeshiva. He puts black hat. He wears a black suit. He doesn't touch cream cakes anymore. He doesn't want to eat wafer. What's going on with you? I don't want to eat meat. I don't want to listen to this. I don't want to do this. Come on, my friend. You are still very dirty from all the sins. The soul is not ready to go from 0 to 90 overnight. It's a process that takes years. Only the people who establish themselves in the right way, eventually they stay righteous for the rest of their life, and they, Baruch Hashem, die righteous. If a person jumps too fast to a very high level, without guidance, he doesn't have a rabbi to tell him what to do, what not to do, and he goes home, he begins to fight with his parents for every little thing. Why are you cooking like this? Why this? Why are you buying this? This is not 100% kosher. Yes, some people eat it, but we don't eat it. It creates a big problem. First of all, it makes his parents hate the religion. We say, if that's the religion, that I'm losing my kid, you should know that 90%, I'm telling you from experience, 90% of the arguments between kids that become religious to their parents could be avoided easily with no problem. It comes out of ignorance. He is like a fire, like a torch. He's excited. And everything he hears, right away, he comes and throws it to his parents' face. Wait a minute. Not everybody is in the same level. I remember I once told my cousin, is a very big Rav in Israel. Very big, very, very big holy man. Doesn't leave the book for a second. For many years already. So I told him about someone's father. Someone who already became religious. He went to yeshiva, but his father, it's very difficult. So he told me, if his father will eat kosher, put 5 minutes a day tefillin, and keep Shabbat, that's already more than enough for him. Leave him alone. Don't talk to him about anything else. I said, what do you mean? What, is different Jew than all the others? He said, yes. Not every Jew is equal. Not every Jew can be Chacham Ovadia Yosef. Forget about it. Not every Jew can be the local rabbi. Not every Jew can be a black hat. Not everyone. Some souls come from different levels. If you force it on them, you break their spirits and you make them goyim. And I see all the time that people started very highly, excited, and then a year later, explosion. What's with you? You know, I started to have doubts. What doubts you have? Let's see. Let's hear your doubts. He doesn't really have doubts. He has excuses. Excuses, excuses, excuses. So what's the right way? This is the right way. First, Ashivenu avinu letoratecha. Return me, Hashem, to your Torah. You cannot become Baal Tshuva without coming to learn Torah every day. I repeat, somebody who wants to become religious without coming every day to learn Torah, the answer is, it's impossible. He is dreaming. Men and women. Women also has to learn. So how do they learn? They don't have yeshivot like the men. Either they come to lectures like tonight, or they listen to tapes, or they listen to lectures on a religious station in the radio. They have one lecture after the other through the, those who has internet, they can put the computer, they can put on the religious channel. They have one rabbi after the other, 24 hours a day. One lecture after the other. Today we're going to learn how you make the kitchen kosher. Today, how we clean the vegetables from worms. Now we're going to learn the laws of Shabbat. How not to write on Shabbat, what happened if by mistake, not by mistake, with this, with ink, the ink stays, the ink doesn't stay. They teach you over the years in all the laws. My aunt, she's probably now in her 70s, she knows Torah more than many rabbis that I know. Everything she knows from the radio. All day, she's a widow, her kids are all married. All day she sits home and listening to Torah. 20 hours a day like this. For many years, more than 20 years. What do you expect? That she won't know everything? Everything you can ever think about, she already knows. She listens all day. She has nothing else to do in her life. What a widow can do in this age. She has nothing else to do. All day sits and she also read a lot. And that's it. So you see that even ladies can reach very high levels. So Ashivenu avinu letoratecha. Next thing, karvenu malkenu la'avodatecha. Now it's time to start keeping Torah and mitzvot. Starting to learn, Ashivenu letoratecha, karvenu la'avodatecha, the avodah of the mitzvot, of the prayers, of doing the mitzvot, putting tefillin, doing everything that's necessary. And what's the end? V'achazirenu b'tshuva shleva lefanecha. And then it can become a tshuva shlema, a complete repentance. If not, if there's no Torah and mitzvot, there's no tshuva. Remember, first Torah, then keeping the mitzvot, then your tshuva can become complete. No Torah, no tshuva. More than 10 years ago, I had the zchut to meet supposedly the biggest Kabbalist in the world today, Rabbi Yaakov Hillel. He's teaching Kabbalah to many big rabbis, and he has many books about it. And I say to him, they say that there are 400,000 Baalei Tshuva. Today they say there's 1 million, but in those days it was about 400,000. That was the numbers. So he got upset. He looked at me and said, what? 400,000? What are you dreaming? Forget about it. So I said, what do you mean? He said, what? All these people who start keeping 2-3 mitzvot, you consider them Baalei Tshuva? Forget about it. Baal Tshuva is in yeshiva. You cannot become Baal Tshuva without first coming to yeshiva for a few months to learn the basics. You don't learn the basics, you can be 20 years with a yarmulke on your head. You make 100 sins every hour. So many sins you can make by not knowing, not because you're bad. You just don't know. You're ignorant. So if you cannot come to the yeshiva for whatever reason, you have a minimum obligation to learn morning and evening. And Baruch Hashem, here in Queens, how many shuls there are? More than 100 at least, no? There's more than Faradi, Ashkenazi, many shuls. It's impossible that you're going to make an excuse that you didn't find a place that you like. It's impossible. One of them you have to like. The teacher here, the Rebbe there, they have different styles. You find a place where you like to go and you participate in their shiurs. Or, if you can afford a little bit, hire someone who knows a lot of Torah, pay monthly, whatever, and you dedicate him to be your teacher. One-on-one, 2 hours every day, believe me. In 2 hours a day, in 1 year, you see, you know so much. I see people who are religious for many, many years. Every day they send me emails about things that they have to do. How much they have to search for me, to call me if I'm not available, to try again, to get an answer that if they only read a little bit every day, they will know the answers. They don't know anything. 10 years is religious. He doesn't know things that in kindergarten they teach. Why? He doesn't want to learn. I'm not saying to become a rabbi, but the mandatory things. How to say bracha, what happened when you leave the room. Things that happens every 5 minutes. Believe me, I see people, they come to me sometimes for Shabbat. Some of them has beard all the way to the floor. They sweep the floor when they walk. Not only in a Omer time like now. All year. And they don't know simple halachot in a shulchan. You are amazed. They ask, do we make a bracha on this? What bracha we make on this? I went to the bathroom. What do I do now? So what did you do until now for 10 years? What did you do 10 years? You grew this beard and you have a sombrero of $200 made in Hungary or something. So what did you do? Ha'ikar, he has two big long peos that when he turns around he can break somebody's face. But he doesn't know what bracha to make on a cake. You know, about, 12, 13 years ago, on Rosh Hashanah, my wife and I went to stay in a place in Muncie by a family for Rosh Hashanah. I had 1 or 2 kids at that time, young ones, babies. So there was a brother and a sister from Long Island that they are going to the Kabbalah Center, and the Kabbalah Center cleans them from all their money, as they do to all people. Gotta be very careful to stay away from them, from all these crooks over there. They pretend that they're Kabbalah, they teach people that they're not supposed to teach. Even dogs are going into the lectures in the shul, supposedly, and other things that you're not supposed to have, and they fake all kinds of signature with Rabbi Kaduri, and supposedly people think Kabbalah, 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 and they sell probably hundreds of thousands of books to people, and it became a very good money maker. So this brother and sister already gave more than $100,000 donation to that crooks. And they're sitting with me in Rosh Hashanah. And I right away realized that I got to get them out of that place. So brother and sister, they are being robbed every week by crooks, bad people. You got to save them. That's the law. You cannot sit here and let your brother sing and smoke your cigar and say, what is it, my problem? I'm healthy. Doesn't work that way. I'm arguing with the guy. The girl doesn't say anything, but I'm arguing. Nothing helps. I told him, what is all this show? You're wearing white. You're davening from Sidur of Mekubalim. What? You a big chacham? What is this? You're pretending like you're the Baba Sali or something. I'm arguing with him. So in the end, I see nothing helps. Then all of a sudden, I see the guy ate a cake, and I'm following him. I said, after a while, I said to him, don't you going to make a bracha achrona on the cake? You have to make a bracha. You finish the cake. You ate more than 1 ounce. He looks at me like I'm speaking Chinese to him. He said, what do you mean? It's not bread. I said, what do you mean it's not bread? What, only for bread you say thank you to Hashem? For cake you don't say? So he said, no, but I made before when we ate in the morning, I said Birkat Hamazon. I don't have to say anything. I said, how many years you go there? He said, 7 years. 7 years you go there and you don't know what my little kids, in a crib, they already know the bracha by heart. 7 years you don't know what bracha to make? You didn't even start to make tshuva. You don't know anything. All you know that you pretend that you're a Kabbalist. Baruch Hashem, 2 weeks later, we got rid of him and became Orthodox kosher Jew, him and his sister. I got lucky to see. If not, forget it. It would be there until today. Just before time is ending, you know, I will tell you one last story for tonight, and from here we have to learn how important is what comes to our mouth. Very important. Besides the fact that we have to listen to Hashem, to eat kosher only, and the more strict, the better it gets. The Gemara brings us a story about Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, Rabbi. He wrote the Mishnah. The Mishnayot that we have it thanks to him. If he wouldn't write it, we wouldn't have. And that's the foundation of all the oral Torah, Torah shebe'al peh. So Rabbi Yehuda Anasi, he was the son of Rashbag, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, which was the president of Israel. And there was in a time when the Romans occupied the land, and the Jews are paying taxes to the Romans, and the Romans made horrible decrees that Jews are not allowed to practice Judaism. One of the decrees they made, besides that you're not allowed to keep Shabbat and all these things, you're not allowed to circumcise the babies. No Brit Milah is allowed. If they find a father that circumcised his son, they kill the whole family. The father, the boy, the mother, everyone. Or if they find any Jewish kid that is younger than the date of the decree, which means if the decree was 2 years ago, and this baby is 1 year old and is circumcised, they find his parents and they kill them. Big risk. And they go and check. Like the police go and check seatbelts here, or if you have a license and registration, they need money. You know, the government is going bankrupt, the city is bankrupt, so they need to give a lot of tickets. So every corner, all of a sudden, you have 2 police cars. For that, they have money, Baruch Hashem. So they need income. So the Romans, they don't need income. They need to catch Jews. So one goy, one fancy goy, heard or saw that Rashbag made a Brit Milah to Rabbi, to the baby, Rabbi Yehuda, to his son. Right away, he went to the Caesar and he told him that president of the Jews, that day, in that place, circumcised his baby. So the king said, wow, the chief of the Jews doing it? Call him right away. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam שהכל נהיה בדברו. Call him right away. As Rashbag is bringing his baby with his wife, they come to the palace of the Caesar. Obviously, they're very nervous because they're about to die, all of them. Who came out? The wife of the Caesar. And she recognized the wife of the Rav. They met each other one time on the street. So she looked at her, she said, oh, how are you? She doesn't know what they're doing there. How are you? How are you doing? They're already socializing now. She said, good, how are you? Yeah. She said, what are you doing here? She said, somebody told about us that we circumcise our baby and this is the end of our life here now. Now who is going to kill them? Her husband, this Goya. So she told her, don't worry, wait right here. She ran inside the house. She brought a baby, a few months old. His name is Antoninos. He is her son. He is the son of that Caesar. But babies, you know, babies. She brings him out. She said, give me your son. Take this baby, put him here, put something on his head that they won't recognize him, and say, here, check. So she said, thank you very much. So they exchanged babies. She took Rabbi Yehuda inside, and Rabbi Yehuda's mother took Antoninus inside. So the king, they said to the soldier, check the baby. So they open up, they say, 100% pure goy. No circumcision, your honor, your majesty. Quickly go and kill that guy that told me that embarrassed the rabbi, that I had to bring the chief rabbi to my office. For the embarrassment he made our reputation, I want him dead by sunset tonight. That guy, they finished him off. In the meantime, the baby was crying outside, this goy, Antoninos. So, since she just gave birth, you know, so she breastfed him. So the goy was breastfeeding from the Jewish mother and the wife of the chief rabbi. 20 years later, he had attraction to Judaism. Now remember, if a Roman show any sign that he liked the Jews or their Torah, well, they make a party over his body. Now he's the son of the king. He is going to the yeshiva to learn with the rabbi. It's impossible. So what does he do? He made a special tunnel to go to Rabbi Yehuda, which they both were babies at that time, to teach him Torah, to this goy. And every time he comes, he kills the 2 people who walk with him, because the prince always walk with guards. Yeah, slowly, every day, 2 guards disappearing. And he comes to learn Torah. So the Gemara says, the milk that he got from this pure woman affected his entire spirituality. Which you should know, milk it's not regular food. No matter how many replacements they make, a woman has to be a fool not to breastfeed her baby. You know how much spirituality you have in this milk? Even then with Moshe Rabbeinu, didn't want to take milk from a naked. They had to bring him a Jewish one until he agreed to drink. So Chazal say the mouth that has to speak to God is going to take a not pure milk. There's so many. I once read an article about how many things you have in the milk of the mother. Wow, amazing. How many different things, minerals, vitamins, hard to believe. Everything the baby needs. So, the Gemara emphasized that Antoninos became a convert behind the ground, under the ground, thanks to the milk he took. But I want to highlight one other point. Who was Rabbi? Rabbi, he wrote the Mishnah. Thanks to him, the Torah got saved. If you wouldn't write the Mishnah, you wouldn't be here today. There wouldn't be Jews, no synagogues, no Torah, no nothing. Every mitzvah, every Torah that Jews learn and do all over the world for the last 2,000 years, go to the account of that Goya lady that exchanged babies with Rabbi's mother. Think about it. By giving her baby to her and taking him into the room and saving his life, the entire nation of Israel and the Torah and everything you have today got saved. They killed him, finished. He wouldn't have Rabbi. He lived 120 years. Yeah, the Gemara says, if Mashiach comes in our time, the Chachamim ask, who deserves to be the Mashiach? Unanimously, everybody agree, Rabbi. He's a perfect person. He has everything you need. He is the biggest Chacham. He's the wealthiest Jew. He's a billionaire. And he has everything that a person needs to be the Mashiach. He deserves. And this Goya, the wife of the Roman Caesar, she married to a wicked murderer. She inherits her place in heaven by 1 minute mitzvah. That's what the Gemara says sometimes, and we finish with that. Yesh Adam koneh olamo berega echad. There are some lucky people, Jews and non-Jews, that can buy eternity in 1 minute. They live here 100 years. It's all baloney, nonsense, grinding water. No achievement. One moment, you're lucky. You are set for eternity. Or God forbid, in 1 minute, you can lose everything. If a person say before he died, I regret I was a kosher Jew. I wish I wouldn't be religious and keep all these mitzvot. I would live and do whatever I want. What did I gain? Look, I'm dying now. With all my religion, he lost all his mitzvot in 1 minute. 80 years of effort went to the garbage. Got it? In one word, one sentence, he can lose everything or can earn eternity by what you do. 1 minute. You write one check to the right place, you're set for eternity. Why? It creates mitzvot every day. Goes to your account. You become wealthier and wealthier spiritually. Chas v'shalom, you give check to a wrong place, to a disco place, to a soccer team. There's a lot of millionaire fools in Israel. They come to Israel, they want attention on the media, fame. They buy soccer teams. They give money, they bring good players. Now 20,000 people come every Shabbat to see all these wicked mechalelei Shabbat. All the sin goes to his account, to this rich guy. They give him some pictures on the news, and his hell becoming wider and wider and deeper by the minute. Why? If he wouldn't bring the money, nobody would come to see this team. Maybe 200 fans would come. There's nothing to see. Now, thanks to his money, they became entertaining. 20,000 Jews come Mechalelei Shabbat. It's all his fault. One guy gives to yeshiva, one guy gives to the sport. They both gave. One goes to heaven, one goes to hell, Hashem Yerachem. See? That's what it means. You can buy your eternity in 1 minute, or you can lose it in 1 minute. It's all free choice. Thank you, Rav Abo, that you had this idea that I'm going to come to speak here. Please tell all your friends every Wednesday, 8:45. Thank you very much. Have a good week.